Hi friends, today we're taking a look at Rogue from the Age of Apocalypse. There she is, looking really nice in this window box packaging that is just still obnoxiously shaped. Artwork on the sides, back, a little read up, wave mates, nonsense, and the rage. Ah, found a handle for my knife. How about that? Too many interlocking flaps. What's the point of cutting anything? Yep. Got that. It's perhaps a good idea to wash these too. They're all greasy with mold lube and cancer. Who knew, right? Even breakfast cereal give you cancer. Canada knew. No, we knew here too, man, but who wants to cop to that? Initial impressions, super solid representation of the character. Paint detail all the way around the back. No special colors or washes though. Back to the single jointed elbows, you never know. Still can't figure out a waist cut for a female figure, and still can't common sense put a boot cut in over a boot. That's just willful, obviously. Anna Marie, Rogue. A mutant with the ability to absorb the energy and identity of others, as well as the abilities of fellow mutants. In this alternate reality, Rogue absorbed the powers of Lorna Dane, granting her the manipulation of magnetic fields. Sadly, in any reality, there seem to be those who seek to use Rogue and her unique gifts for their own nefarious ends. Hunted by the hounds of Apocalypse, it would be Magneto who would find her and give her purpose. In time, he would give her something more. Through control of his own powers, he would overcome the curse of hers. Traditionally unable to touch another person without absorbing their consciousness, Magneto made it possible for Rogue to have a child. Named Charles for his dead friend, Eric and Anna Marie would fight to give him the life Xavier never had, and fight to save this mad world from the coming apocalypse. Get ready! This rendition of Rogue is a really nice figure. With new sculpt on her fancy pinless legs. Look at that. Look how clean that is. Standard on the single jointed female elbows anyway, so that does fit in. Always looking to double our pleasure, as it were. But we get this really nice head sculpt. You can see they've got the haircut nice and high like that, as is accurate, but also you got the paint that goes all the way around the thing. Where is that on certain other figures in the same wave, even? It's got this nice piece that's just stuck up here. It will move like the pieces on the wrist if you want them to. If you need them to, if you take the hands off and they go flying, make sure it doesn't fall underneath something. Going in closer, hair looks great. Perfectly stylized for the Age of Apocalypse look. The lipstick, the eyes, the eyebrows up in there, it all looks really clean. Head might be a touch high up, but it's hard to tell with the hair. It all just seems to fit, you know. This is a separate piece. It's just plugged into the back. Shoulders, the puffy shoulders, upper arms here. I don't think this is new, but I'm hard-pressed to think of where it's coming from right now. Characters like Lorna Dane spring to mind. I've got a little chip right here at this diaphragm cut. What are you going to do? This is nice and clean. Nitpicks, though, would include the bands that are traditionally displayed as right over the middle of the forearm. She does sometimes, later on she has a cape, but she does have a hole for something, you know. Maybe a later release in the pipeline, as she's most often maybe depicted as not, or early on does not have the cape. These greens are really nice. If we line up the sculpt, it lines up the paint. I don't think we're having any issues there. And these boots look fantastic. In some depictions, this is more of a magenta, and it matches. This is also sometimes a magenta. But I like the green. I know sometimes it's also green. Aesthetically, this figure is very pleasing. Hits all the right notes. You wouldn't look at this and not understand that this is the Age of Apocalypse Rogue. It just really Age of Apocalypse. Sweet dreams. Diving into the articulation, this head is way up here on this peg, with some really good tilt because of the hair. Flying character, looking really nice. Who would be pissed about that? You know what I mean? Shoulders, they got these hinges and the puffiness of the shirt. That's why I think they've got these way out here. So it looks a little goofy from certain angles, but Reveltech silliness, this is not. You get this nice diaphragm cut here. All the way around, mostly the standard female torso. These, of course, force that all the way up and around. And the single jointed elbow also rotates all the way by the nature of it. Only comes up just to about a 90 unless you're really pushing on it. You could probably tear this small thing apart by forcing that all the way. Wrists are on a hinge, just pegged in there. Fix your head. Coming down to the legs here. Standard, again for the female figure, and they really don't come out to the side very much. You would need a bit of a drop down effect. Yeah, which she does not have. Comes forward really far, and you could manipulate the upper thigh cut to get a little more weirdness if for some reason she needed to be like kicking or maybe doing some ground fighting. Because you got this junk here keeping you from coming straight back. But you can come off to the side a little. Coming down here, double jointed, and even with that boot, you know, it gets pretty high up there. Get some really good range for the flight poses. Again, big fat boots here, fat ankles, and hinge, swivel, rocker, all the requisite articulation there. No boot cut here articulation. Again, boots are always a nice place to hide that. And if you're just sculpting this all fresh anyway, why not? But it does look really nice. So pretty basic female articulation. I'm pretty happy with the posability of this figure. Get up and greet ya. Say goodnight, Shug. For accessories, you get a couple of fists, a welcome addition. But I would have accepted an optional cape. Or even optional magenta collar. What is cool, though, is that it matches well enough for you to be able to use accessories that come with other Rogue figures. Part of the beauty of it. Those are, of course, going to look like the same hands, simply balled into fists. What are you going to do? Anatomy, huh? And we're eating pretty well in the age of apocalypse. Rogue is standing about 6 3/8 of an inch. You can see she strikes a nice balance here with Star Saber and Bounce House. That is, of course, the Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth on the left, and on the right, Blink. For more AOA madness, we have Iceman and Sunfire, respectively. And of course, she looks especially great with wave mates and characters from that time period. And here she is with the mainline 90s Magneto and Gambit. As I have yet to open my AOA Magneto and yet to catch wind of an AOA Gambit, but you know he's coming. You know he's coming. We'll make do with these two for now. And never mind what I said before, here she is next to Mystique and her corn-fed counterpart, 90s Rogue. I would throw in that more modern take from the 2-pack with Pyro, but I'm such a sick freak I just hoarded and packed it away somewhere until such time as we have, say, Avalanche, Blob, Destiny, a whole bunch of those guys they have yet to give up the ghost on. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I do love how distinct she looks from her 616 counterpart. Raised by a monster and loved by a puke. And what you've all been waiting for, it's Skinny and Scarface, the Marvel Legends 2 Emo for Pizza Spider-Man, and the Marvel Legends Morning Coffee Mostly Bucky Cap Deadpool. Cheers. And finally, for an additional comparison with 7-inch scale figures, we feature the largely superfluous Marvel Select 90s Gambit. He still looks alright. But much more modern and meticulously manufactured, we have the DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Batman from an alternate Earth as well. The Drowned. Don't go in the water. Winding this hog down, I just want to say I love this figure. The aesthetics are just right. This is exactly what you would expect as far as an Age of Apocalypse Rogue figure. No glaring omissions or inaccuracies as far as the on-the-page detail goes. The paint is really clean, the colors really pop, that head sculpt is great all around. Little things like the way they've cut the hair so that it doesn't impede the articulation of the head. Nothing much as far as real flaws. Debatable color on the collar, optional cape, armbands. The armbands is probably the worst of it, and I think most people might even overlook that. She comes with a couple of extra hands, which is better than nothing. And this is fairly standard female body articulation, minus those double-jointed elbows. So it's hard to ding it too much for that. I would give her a 4 out of 5. Very happy to have this figure. As always, I want to thank everyone for being here. This is therapeutic to me. Something fulfilling to focus my efforts on. Leave a like and look out for more. And you're tuned to Toy Lips, where they always smack.
Know what's inside.